the time has come,
the walrus said.
Salutations all, I'm Jockey, welcome to Super Mario World, and just before I start the Let's Play, I just want to show you Mimi here, being very adorable. I don't know if her purring is picking up on the mic at all. I can try moving the mic a bit closer, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Super Mario World. This here is a classic SNES game, one of the absolute best in my opinion. It's just such a great game. It starts out, you're immediately introduced to Mario here. He looks great. The whole game is 16-bit. It's the first Mario game to be like this. And this came out in 1991. It's a launch title for the Super Nintendo, and it's one of the best Super Nintendo games in my opinion, at least. Oh, the mic fell down. Okay. Hold on. But anyway, Super Mario World is a bit different than the NES games. It's a lot more evolved as a platformer now. There's a lot more mechanics they introduce that solidify this as more of a solid game. Mimi, I think, is leaving now. See you later, cat. This is the continuation of the Super Mario Bros. Series. It isn't called Super Mario Bros. 4, which might have caused some confusion back in the day. I think it might actually be called that in Japan. I'm not sure. But this is no doubt the continuation of the Mario Bros. Series. I mean, maybe it's best they didn't number them starting here, because then we'd be at a very high number at this point. But anyway, this is getting a little off track. Let's start things out. So, like the previous Mario games, it plays pretty similarly. We move around, we jump, and this is something I need to talk about that I absolutely love about them with the Super Nintendo controller. In the original Mario games, there was an NES controller, and hold on, I'll go and demonstrate this right now. Be right back. In the original Mario games, you're using the NES controller, where there's just B and A. So of course, B was run, A was jump. You kind of hold your thumb like this, or like this, just so that you could get both buttons at once, and you could then run and jump and that sort of thing. Now with the Super Nintendo, if they kept it as B and A, these buttons are a bit more separated, and you'd have to hold the controller like this, which isn't as comfortable to me. Instead, the run button is now Y, and B is the jump button, which is a lot better in my opinion, because that way you can just put your thumb right here, and you immediately have your thumb both the run and the jump button. You can then, easily run and jump throughout the whole level, and I love that control scheme. The other thing about this game control is that the momentum is perfect in my opinion. There's nothing wrong. You don't slide too much, you don't slide too little. It feels so fluid and nice. And I know I'm going into quite a bit of detail when this is just another platformer for Mario, and that's pretty common even then, even now. But I really love the way this game controls. We also have one new mechanic, in that we have the A button here, is the spin jump. It currently just seems like another way to jump. It's not too important right now. And you can run with it as well, but then you kind of hold the controller in an awkward way. Anyway, we have a different kind of story. Hello! Sorry I'm not home, but I have gone to rescue my friends who were captured by Bowser. Yoshi. But man, there's just so much to talk about with this game. First of all, we have this overworld here, similar to Mario 3, but it is fully connected. It's not just one world. Like, I'll show you guys, when we beat this castle that says 1 next to it, we'll be able to go back to it at any point we want. Anyway, here we have Yoshi's Island 1. It's best to start here, I would think. And, yeah, this really introduces the whole concept of the game to us. The new theme, which I love. A lot of the new enemies, which are dinosaurs. You can jump on these guys normally. Whoops, that was embarrassing. But then they have to get jumped on again. If you spin jump on them, they go down instantly. There's also those giant bullet bills. There's these Yoshi coins, or I think they're called like dragon coins or something, but I mean, they have Yoshi on them. It's best to just call them Yoshi coins in my opinion. And yeah, the background's nice. Mario animates fluid. I just could play this game forever and appreciate it forever, but we need to get on with the Let's Play. Anyway, as I was mentioning, the new mechanic with the spin jump is that it can break blocks if, and only if, you happen to be a big Mario, meaning you have a mushroom or a power beyond that. And with that last dragon coin, we got all 5 of them, which when you get all 5, all you get is a 1-up. Really, not much point in getting the dragon coins. It doesn't add to 100% completion. There are much better opportunities to get lives in other stages and such, and yeah, the dragon coins really aren't that important. Anyway, this is the end of the stage. Now, I do like how in Mario games there's always a unique way of ending the stage. In Mario 3 there was that roulette wheel. Here in Mario World we have this tape. You jump through it, and if you hit the tape, you get points. The higher up the tape is, the more points you get, and you get points to eventually work towards getting a bonus game, which I'm not even that great at. And there's only one kind of bonus game, so it's honestly not the most important thing in the world. Anyway, beating Yoshi's Island 1 sends us up here. And up here we have the Yellow Switch Palace. Let's head on inside. Hitting this P-switch here just fills the room with coins, and really the only purpose of this stage, or this palace, is just to collect coins and get 1-ups. Like I said, there's a lot of ways you can get 1-ups in this game, which is why it's kind of annoying that, well, I guess it's an improvement from the last few games. This is why I like doing the games in orders. I think more about the mechanics that introduced at the time versus what I'm used to now. Basically, in this game they introduced saving, which is a huge deal at the time, but the one thing I don't really like about it now is that going back to your previous save doesn't save your lives. So you can collect as many lives you want, you can have 50, but then if you go back to your save, you're not going to have nearly as much. So for example, I'm going to save here when I beat that, and if I reset, I would lose all the lives I got in the Switch Palace. I don't really like that. But again, that's why I like doing the games in order, because I'm thinking, saving wasn't even a mechanic in the previous Mario game, so that's a big deal now. Yoshi's Island 2. This is some people's first stage in this game, just because this and Yoshi's Island 1 are both presented right away at the beginning, but I recommend doing Yoshi's Island 1 first, seeing as how you get the Yellow Switch Palace complete, and completing the Yellow Switch Palace will create those yellow exclamation point blocks like the one here. Those give you a mushroom, those provide platforms. It's really good to get the Switch Palaces done when you can. And what do you know? It's Yoshi's first appearance. Hooray! Thank you for rescuing me. My name is Yoshi. On my way to rescue my friends, Bowser trapped me in that egg. Yoshi is an insane new mechanic. I mean, Mario 3 had a lot of great power-ups, I will admit, but a lot of them were very situational or very simple. Yoshi is the best kind of new power-up in that there's layers of depth to using Yoshi. For example, Yoshi immediately makes your jump kind of like a spin jump in a way, in that he can jump on like piranha plants and he can jump on spikes and that sort of thing. He also adds a new hit, but you can also get him back after you've been hit, as he's running away, and you can jump back onto him, as I showed off earlier there. You can leave him if you want to climb up vines, since you can't do that riding him, unfortunately. There's also the mechanic of eating Koopa shells, which basically just amounts to the different Koopa shells you eat, you get a different result, such as you eat the red Koopa shell, you shoot fire, you eat the blue Koopa shell, you get wings, which is really useful. But yeah, it's simple to understand, but it's complex in observing it, and I appreciate that about Yoshi and as a mechanic. Whoops, I jumped too high, but that's okay. Now, I've heard that the developers wanted to make a mount for Mario to ride in Mario 3, or even earlier than that, possibly. They wanted to make a mount for Mario just to make platforming a bit different. And yeah, Yoshi is a great improvement on the series, and I think he's always a better aspect of every Mario game he's in. By the way, as you saw there, if you already have a Yoshi, or you're already riding one, and you happen to find another Yoshi in a block somewhere, it just is a 1-up. Which is, again, another way you get a lot of lives in this game. Hey, I can't believe it took, 4 stages in the Let's Play for me to finally get a Fire Flower, but here we are. And the Fire Flower in this game is, a little better than Mario 3. I've heard people say that this isn't a great example of a Fire Flower, which I can kind of understand since Yoshi and the other new power-up are so good. The Fire Flower might seem a bit overshadowed, but it's still kind of neat. Like, it shoots out when you do a spin jump, and it turns enemies into coins in this game, unlike the previous entries, which just kind of eradicated them. Yoshi's Island 4, this is kind of a mix of a water level, which is another neat mechanic about this game, is that, you can kind of tell what level you're getting into, and this is a thing in Mario 3 as well, in like the water world. You can kind of tell what level you're getting into based on how you enter in the overworld. Like, this level was in a bit of a puddle in the overworld, so there's a bit of water in the level itself. Ooh, we just lost Yoshi there, that's unfortunate. And we lost that power-up. But that's okay, we have a reserve, that's another new mechanic. I love that mechanic in this game. Just the fact that you can immediately lose a power-up and then get a new one. Castle number 1, Iggy's Castle. Just like Mario 3, we have the Koopalings acting as our mini-bosses throughout the game. This part's kind of difficult, you just gotta kind of play it safe. Don't go rushing ahead, otherwise you'll get crushed, no doubt. The castle theme is very epic in this game, and that's something I also appreciate, is that all of the tracks in this game are kind of focused around a certain theme. Oh dear! I didn't realize there was a crusher there because I never waited there before. I almost got destroyed there. Anyway, this is the first boss of the game, Iggy. really nothing to say about him. Basically, you just jump on him, and depending on what way the seesaw is facing, he'll fly in whatever direction is currently facing downwards, like that. But if I were to jump on him now, he'd slide down towards, or away from the lava, and we don't want that, do we? So, yeah. You can just do him pretty easily. All he does is occasionally throw a fireball out of his head. Don't touch the lava, you'll die. It's as simple as that, really. So we blow up Iggy's castle. We've defeated the demented Iggy Koopa. I don't know why they use that word. And we've rescued Yoshi's friend who is still trapped in an egg. Together they now travel to Donut Land.